right, Shawn, Gerard. Hey, congratulations in your participation in this reality competition of Peacock's Baking It.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It looks like you guys had a lot of fun on this show. That is for sure.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, I think we had the best time for sure.
Absolutely. Would recommend it to 9 out of 10 friends for sure. If they know how to make cookies.
at minimum cookies.
The very minimum.
Well, let's start out with that easy question that people always wonder on is how did you manage, what was your path that you managed to get on this show in the first place? How did it happen?
So, as you can see, we are involved with a show called Foods and Dudes. I'm the host. Shawn is my co-host, recurring guest, whatever else. But it's a YouTube show where we basically teach men how to cook. So unlike some of the other participants who got onto Baking It, someone actually from casting reached out to us and just said they loved our energy, our chemistry, and everything else, and wondered if we were comfortable with baking. And of course, you know what I mean? So, just in consultation with the production team of Foods and Dudes and making sure it was all on brand and everything like that, we decided, hey, let's give this a shot, and we're pretty good bakers. So we were like, let's do it, so we started the audition process at that point.
Wow. Now I'm more curious of what this Food and Dudes is all about. What kind of cooking show is this that you guys have on YouTube?
So it's not even really. I have to say that we don't even really recognize it as a cooking show as much as it is a show about men getting together, having sort of like this barbershop conversation about things we don't normally have conversations about, right? And we do it on TV, and we do it with food involved, right? So G's helping us to figure out how to navigate the kitchen, right? And how things look and how things taste. And we're having conversations about our children, we're having conversations about our mates, right? Marriage. We're having conversations about how we're doing kids to school and all these things, sports, like all these things that are relevant to men today. So I think in that regard, we really are having conversations around food, around making food. That's really what it's all about. And my wife is the director of it as well. So it's a family affair.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So part of it is I think when you're in a situation where you don't feel quite comfortable, you know what I mean? Like most men are having a hard time navigating the kitchen, navigating the tools, the meats, like whatever it is, that they may be doing for the first time or doing it in a different way that they're used to. It's interesting because that's when I think the real conversation happens. That's when they loosen up, because I think they move away a little bit from the comfort zone that they're in, which is usually their profession and things like that. They move away from that into cooking where they're uncomfortable. And when they realize they're on camera, they're cooking, they don't know what they're doing, it sparks such amazing conversation about the things that they are great at, or the things that they might be insecure about, or the things that are topical or whatever else, because they're running back to that area where they feel comfortable. So the conversation that comes is just, and like Shawn said, the whole purpose is to get this barbershop feel, just like you go to a barbershop, you just don't know what in the world is going to come out. You know what I mean? You don't know what topic is going to ensue. You don't know how far it's going to go or where it's going to go. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
So essentially it's kitchen talk with food, and that's what you guys are aiming for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Lots of humor, lots of fun, lots of tender moments, right, with friends and guys that we don't know from anywhere, really, right? We just we have a great crew that casts really great guys,
absolutely,
and that's how it works.
You guys have a specialty of food that you guys like to cook?
No. No, we span, you know, a large diaspora of food. We you know, there's a lot of different selections. We talk to the guys usually once or twice beforehand, obviously during casting and stuff, and find out, you know, what do you like? What are you comfortable with? And then sometimes we try to do the exact opposite. So I would say that it's been a challenge for me sometimes as the culinary artist and host to come up with things that, again, takes people out of their comfort zone, things that they don't necessarily know how to do, maybe never even tasted before, or maybe tasted and didn't know how to cook. So we find out what people's allergies are, and we go from there. You know what I mean? We just kind of stay away from. So we try not to stay with any genre. Like, honestly, it was a challenge for me. I made my first vegan meal in the second season. It was just like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but you know, you figure it out, and you go forward, and you realize that you can do it if you put your mind to it. So it's kind of cool.
So what was the audition process like for baking it for you guys? What did they actually have you guys do? Just bake a bunch of goodies, and hopefully these producers like it.
I think they were afraid. I think the producers were afraid. So I would imagine that this is very different during COVID than it is during a regular audition process. So we're showing all these beautiful things that we've made and everything like that. And I think it clicked in one of the producers' heads before they even started the process, like, wait a minute, people don't make absolute idiots of us when we go on TV. So we were actually baking, on Zooms or, on some sort of teleconference. We were doing, serious 3-hour bakes, things like that, in the kitchen with a camera. It was kind of crazy. But that's the type of thing that we had to go through. And that was like over the course of months. That we had to just prove to them that we knew what we were doing in the kitchen, that we were competent, and that we were creative, that we could put things together. We could, meet challenges that they gave us. So, as Shawn will tell you, we've been friends forever. We've been friends for like 40 years. And I don't think since we were pledging our fraternity have we spent this much time together.
Yeah. I gotta say, you literally took the words out of my mouth, Gerard. This is probably as separate as we've been since the time that we were during that casting. So, right. I think it was a really great experience. It was challenging, and we felt very honored to be casted for the show based on all the folks. The thousands of folks who entered and, tried to get on the show and all that stuff. I think the experience, that experience of trying to get on the show really helped us and propelled us for what was to come on the show. So great work by the production crew to get us ready for that, for sure.
Absolutely. And like the best time doing it. I mean, it was kind of weird having the oven on, 3 days a week in New York heat and everything like that. But, we got ready, we made it happen, and it was just amazing. And the people, man, like just to go through it and then finally meet the people that we've been seeing in, in Zoom calls and whatever for months, when we got to California, it was amazing,
Who we now call family. So
seriously,
the fun hasn't ended, and we're keeping the good times roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're in the middle of a Secret Santa right now, right? Like in a couple of days, we've all sent gifts to each other in a Secret Santa. It's just it's an experience. It was a heck of an experience.
Tell me about your two friendship. You said it lasted for decades already. Do you see this as an advantage when you guys were going into a show like this? Like you guys already knew how to work together?
So I'll say, I know we don't look like we're 40 plus, right? So we don't tout that we're friends for 40 years per se to the outside world, but
it's out there now, bro. It's out there.
It's in the streets, I know. I'll actually say that our ability to think on the fly was easier for us because we do have that camaraderie. We know each other so well. Gerard said, you know, we got into a fraternity at the same time, right? So we've had all these micro experiences along our friendship journey that that I think helped us, right? Everybody else either, you know, all the other contestants, they either, you know, they're connected in many different ways, but I think for many reasons, our connection has been sustained, right, over that time. And all the experiences sort of led to this. So this is kind of like I hope it's not the crescendo. I hope there's much more to come, right? But I do think at this point we've sort of, you know, reached the pinnacle here of the things that we've done together for sure.
Yeah. It was interesting because you know, like Shawn is the athlete in this whole regatta here. So he's, you know, when it's time to do the running, you know, he's taking the lead. When it's time to play basketball, you know, he's all, you know, he's the captain. It is what it is. You know, when it's time to play golf, I'm not going because that's not a sport. But you know, it was just interesting because all those experiences that we've had over the years, you know, it just led us to not take things personally and just be like, yo, this has to get done. That has to get done. Let's get it done. Let's do this. Let's do that. And, you know, it's like no love lost, no insult, no anything. It's just get it done and do what we can do, you know? So that helped a lot, you know, just knowing that whatever we were doing was coming from a place of love and friendship, just made it bearable, man, amongst the unbearable pressure of being up against these amazing people. I mean, like in the middle of a bake and you're looking to your right and obviously you see Jessica and Stephanie doing their fantabulous concoctions and you look behind you and Sharon's, you know, got a perfect cake coming out of the oven while we're in peril. You know what I mean? The only thing that's getting you through that is friendship at that point. You know what I mean? So
listen, it was all fun nonetheless, right? So you know, I think when we turned around and saw all these fantastic bakes, we were just like, oh, it's time to have a good time because not sure it's gonna last long, right?
Right.
Now, one of the greatest thing about this show is that it allows you guys to showcase your, you know, your culture, the diversity, and so on. Could you talk about that? How you know this show lets you open up like this?
So I think we had an innate responsibility to showcase ourselves as positive Black men. Number one, right? It's the only group that were friends, right, per se, and in Black males, right? But also, you know, our holiday cultures and our holiday norms, right? Those things that would separate us from the other contestants, right? And I think it was so important for the world to see, right? Whoever's watching Baking It, that we were positive Black men, and you know, we loved our families, and we love baking, and we love everything about cooking, right? As shown on Foods and Dudes, and you know, it's just so important for us to reflect that outwardly and really give people a sense of who we are and what we are about. So for me, that was really important.
Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the things, you know, Shawn was talking about the culture and everything like that. And we before the show, it was kind of like, okay, you know, goal number one is to be competitive and try to win, obviously. Goal number two was like, yo, let's show something different. This is it's a holiday show. We're not labeling it as any one particular type of holiday or anything like that, but this is the holiday season. We were just like, we've got to get Kwanzaa in here somehow. You know what I mean? So when we found out one of the challenges in particular, the 3-tier cake, we were just like, we got to do it. We got to do it. This is our chance to showcase something that, you know, we celebrate and that we treasure and that a lot of people in our community treasure, but isn't really well understood, and certainly isn't something that a lot of people practice, you know. So we just wanted to bring a little bit of light to that. And I feel like, you know, again, winning was the ultimate goal, but getting that particular bake across was something we wanted to do. And I'm just happy it happened quickly. You know, I'm happy it happened in one of the earlier rounds. So we, you know, we had an opportunity to do that, because that's something we just really wanted to share, you know?
Yeah. And it set the tone. It really set the tone for the kind of bakers we were going to be going forward, right? So once you start with that, you know, the level is set high, and you know, that's where we went. So I think we represented the culture right well, and that was a part of the end game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
With this intense competition and the clock is ticking, how was Maya and Andy, you know, as hosts, and them interviewing you in the midst of competition while you're trying to bake something good?
They were ridiculous.
So, you know, so it's Maya and Andy, first of all. So immediately entertaining, right? That's number one. But secondly, I'm starstruck. You know, like I've been watching, you know, I've been sneaking to stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, starting at 11:30 for the last, you know, when I was during my childhood, to watch Saturday Night Live, and to have, you know, 2 Saturday Night Live cast members there making you laugh, and, you know, just engaging in conversation with you, trying to pull on your emotional heartstrings and everything like that, while you're trying to make sure that your cake is done. You know what I mean? So it was the gift and the curse, you know what I mean? But I look at the gift.
They were distracted.
They were absolutely distracting. And it was something else. You know, and not for nothing, obviously a lot gets left on the cutting floor, but we were cracking up, man. I'm like trying to be serious, and we are cracking up. It's absolutely ridiculous. But you know, wouldn't have traded it for the world. But yeah, you know, maybe after the bake next time, Maya, Andy, what's up?
please never come to me while I'm pulling a cake out of the oven.
Right. Oh
now,
gosh.
Of course, this show threw you guys a curveball that they're not professional judges, but they professional grandmothers, grannies that actually judge it. Could you talk about you know, trying to satisfy the toughest critics out there, grandmothers?
Those grandmothers. So when we first saw them walk out, our first introduction to them, the grannies, we were flabbergasted, right? We didn't know what judges we were getting. You know, all of us, every group was like, oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, right? But we never fathomed that it was going to be grannies. So when they come out, they look like your grandma, right? Loving, right. They had big smiles. They came out, they were waving. And then like when you walk up to them and you're being judged, right? And you watch the process, right? Because each of them have their own process of judging, right? And over the course of the competition, you start to get accustomed to like what they are going to do first. So, you know, one may never eat your food, right? Another one will judge you on the very particular manner in which you decorated food, right? And maybe the other two, and you may be understanding which ones I'm talking about, right? The other two may just argue the whole time about who's wrong about whatever bake it is. One of which everything I think that was presented to her, right? While cursing the other one out along the way. They were awesome. Exactly. They were great. They were a great addition to the show. I wouldn't have wanted any of the judges there. They were so kind. And they gave the best hugs at the end. So I mean, it was from beginning to end, they were awesome.
And you couldn't have said it any better, but I'm going to add one thing. We were in the front position, with them as they were sitting at the table, having these discussions with each other, having these talks, doing everything. Like, they were absolute clowns. Like, I don't know if they came out sauced up. You know, I don't know if they, you know, if they had been drinking, you know, backstage. I don't know what's going on in these trailers, but trying to keep a straight face while these four women who are about to judge you are killing it with the jokes and everything else. Like, we heard everything. And I mean, it was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It was literally like sitting in a room full of my aunts and, you know, not my uncles, but my aunts, you know, my grandmother, my mother, my sisters. And it was just, this is going to go real bad, real fast if we don't cook real well. That's all it was.
And Gerard and I often had to like stay stoic, right? So the camera's all around, they're cracking jokes, and Gerard and I like,
yeah.
Right. So it was definitely a challenge even before we got judged, right? So that whole thing, they were just great. They were really awesome and so sweet,
yeah.
and continue to be sweet.
And continue to be sweet. Yeah, we're actually in touch with them and stuff. They're awesome.
Yeah.
That is great to hear. Now, you know, a little spoiler alert, you guys actually did get a brooch from them. Where's that brooch now?
Oh, it's right back there. It's over there, right behind me.
I actually lay my brooch next to my wife's picture on my night table. So I'm very proud of my brooch.
It's hanging up where my children's picture used to be, you know. Love you, babies.
That is one great souvenir to keep. Well, Gerard, Shawn, let me leave with one more thought, is because I want to mention that it seems like gingerbread is your nemesis. Ever since that show, did you guys even bother to make a gingerbread house this holiday season?
So,
Gerard, you can start that one.
Let me tell you something. It's so bad that I went to church on Sunday and there was a celebration for the children, and part of that celebration was doing gingerbread houses. And I was like, this is betrayal. You know, this is run. No, I don't want to do a gingerbread house. I don't even want to talk about gingerbread. This interview was going so well. And then you bring up our nemesis.
So I literally just want to smash gingerbread homes when I see them now.
Absolutely.
Like I just want to have, it's like whack-a-mole, you know, whack-a-mole. Like, you just want to smash them. Like, that's all I really care to do now. I don't even care. I never wanted to eat gingerbread, right? So that wasn't that's never on the agenda. So as far as I'm concerned, gingerbread is dead to me.
Right. Absolutely. There's so many more delicious things. I'm like, how did this even become a tradition? Let's take the hardest, most disgusting cookie ever and just decorate it. Never eat it.
Right. What else can you do with it but decorate it?
What else can you do with it?
You know what, gentlemen? Man. I absolutely agree with you. I'm not a big fan of gingerbread either, so.
That makes you great. That makes you great.
Well, Gerard, Shawn, hey, thank you very much for carrying this conversation with us. You guys are such a delight, and not to mention that you guys have a great personality on screen. Hopefully you guys get into another food competition down the road. I would love to see you guys compete again.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much.
We're in it for the win, my friend.
Right. Long run, for the long run, baby. Watch Foods and Dudes. You'll love it. Okay. We're on YouTube. Right. Check us out on our website, Instagram, Facebook. You can find us, foodsanddudes.com. All right. Check us out. Thanks so much for the interview.
Hey, not a problem. Happy holidays.
Take care.
Take care. Happy holidays.